Hey guys, Mad Dog here. And for those of you who saw my last video, you'll know that I'm very happy with my Tevo Tarantula 3D printer kit that I got. The only thing that has been bugging me since getting this put together is the noise. One of the things you can probably hear, see if I can get you a little closer, is this little fan. 40mm fan designed to cool the main board. And it doesn't move very much air, but it creates a very high-pitched sound. And in close second to that noise is the power supply they provide. Relatively cheap. Right now that it's doing nothing, it is not quite as loud, but as soon as we put a load on it, tell it to start heating it up, it gets just as loud as this 40mm fan, though at a slightly different tone. So what I'm going to try to do today is quiet this all down. Now, I've seen some people talk about putting a fan controller on their motherboard fan here, and I think that's a bad idea. I definitely think you need airflow. So instead of doing something like slowing that fan down, I'm going to replace it. So what I have here, this was pulled off out of my junk pile. This is an old CPU fan. It happens to be 70mm. And I got a nice bracket off of Thingiverse. And I scaled up the cool front plate so that I can have a nice looking kit for that. What I'm going to do for the power supply is put in this old PC power supply. Now, in the past, I have converted this standard ATX PC power supply to 12 volt only out. So none of these connectors work. It's just the 12 volt out. On the side, I have two positive, two negative right there to be connected with banana plugs. I did this originally to use it as a power supply in remote control car chargers, which it has done completely fine. And I think that it will work very well in this setup. Plus, it has one large, slow-moving fan, so it should be very quiet compared to the old one. This is probably a whole bunch of overkill, considering, I don't know if you can see the specs there, but essentially on a 12 volt rail combined, we have 800 watts total output, and this 12 volt rails have been combined to create these power plugs, so that should work just fine. The other benefit of this is, as you'll notice on your Tevo, you don't get a power switch, so the only way to turn it off completely is to pull the plug from the wall, and that's super annoying. This though has a nice power switch that will turn it on and off. Once again, this has been rewired internally so that this actually turns it on and off. Usually you need the PC to tell it to turn on, but in this case this has been converted properly. This should work just fine, but let's see what we can do, guys. I also printed a ATX mount from this I found on Thingiverse too. It's just full-size ATX mount. We're going to put this right there where the old power supply was, and hopefully we'll get some pretty good luck with this. So here we go. Okay guys, we've got it all wired up here. I've got my larger fan on the main board. Looks pretty good. I got my ATX power supply back here. Got it all connected. Of course, we've got the much higher gauge wire that runs for mainboard power, and then just some thin wire that's going to be running the fan on the main board and the all-time fan for the extruder end. First thing we're going to do is turn it on. Then I'm going to change filament color because I'm wanting to print something else. We'll run a quick test on it. So this will be the test. First heat up after the changeover. So here we go. There you have it. I'm very happy with the results of this mod. My Tevo Tarantula seems to have quieted down quite a bit just from making this a bigger fan that I believe is actually moving more air, and of course swapping out the power supply to something a little bigger, also with the bigger fan that's going to be quieter. I'd highly recommend trying to quiet your Tevo down if you're trying to work with it in reasonable proximity to yourself, because the fans are just very, very loud for stock. But thanks for coming along with me today, guys. If you liked what I did here, go ahead and hit that like button down below. If you like what we're doing here on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you all here next time.